Hello, dear students. Welcome to NEET Shara. And finally, on your request, we are bringing the chemistry audiobook side by side along with biology. And this is your host, Suyashi Vineet. So, let's start without wasting much of our time. This is the first chapter, Some Basic Concepts of Chemistry, Class 11th NCERT. Chemistry is the science of molecules and their transformations. It is the science not so much of the 100 elements, but of the infinite variety of molecules that may be built from them, said by Roald Hoffmann. Chemistry deals with the composition, structure, and properties of matter. These aspects can be best described and understood in terms of the basic constituents of matter, atoms, and molecules. That is why chemistry is called the science of atoms and molecules. Can we see, weigh, and perceive these entities? Is it possible to count the number of atoms and molecules in a given mass of matter and have a quantitative relationship between the mass and the number of particles, atoms, and molecules? We will like to answer some of these questions in this unit. We would further describe how physical properties of matter can be quantitatively described using numerical values with suitable units. 1.1 Importance of chemistry. Science can be viewed as a continuing human effort to systematize knowledge for describing and understanding nature. For the sake of convenience, science is subdivided into various disciplines: chemistry, physics, biology, geology, etc. Chemistry is the branch of science that studies the composition, properties, and interaction of matter. Chemists are interested in knowing how chemical transformations occur. Chemistry plays a central role in the science and is often intertwined with other branches of science like physics, biology, and geology. Chemistry also plays an important role in daily life. Chemical principles are important in diverse areas such as weather pattern, functioning of brain, and operation of a computer. Chemical industries manufacturing fertilizers, alkalis, acids, salts, dyes, polymers, drugs, soaps, detergents, metals, alloys, and other inorganic and organic chemicals, including new materials, contribute in a big way to national economy. Chemistry plays an important role in meeting human needs for food, healthcare products, and other materials aimed at improving the quality of life. This is exemplified by large-scale production of variety of fertilizers, improved variety of pesticides, and insecticides. Similarly, many life-saving drugs such as cisplatin and Taxol are effective in cancer therapy, and AZT, azithromycin, I repeat AZT, azithromycin, used for helping AIDS victims, have been isolated from plant and animal sources or prepared by synthetic methods. With a better understanding of chemical principles, it has now become possible to design and synthesize new materials having specific magnetic, electric, and optical properties. This has led to the production of superconducting ceramics, conducting polymers, optical fibers, and large-scale miniaturization of solid-state devices. In recent years, chemistry has tackled with a fair degree of success some of the pressing aspects of environmental degradation. Safer alternatives to environmentally hazardous refrigerants like CFCs, which is chlorofluorocarbons, responsible for ozone depletion in the stratosphere, have been successfully synthesized. I'll repeat this sentence once again. Safer alternatives to environmentally hazardous refrigerants like CFCs, responsible for ozone depletion in the stratosphere have been successfully synthesized. However, many big environmental problems continue to be a matter of grave concern to the chemists. One such problem is the management of greenhouse gases like methane, carbon dioxide, etc. Understanding of biochemical processes, use of enzymes for large scale production of chemicals, and synthesis of new exotic materials are some of the intellectual challenges for the future generation of chemists. A developing country like India needs talented and creative chemists for accepting such challenges. 1.2 Nature of Matter. Please like this session of Neetshala, and this is your host Suyashi. You are already familiar with the term matter from your earlier classes. Anything which has mass and occupies space is called a matter. These are the diagrams arrangement of particles in solid, liquid and gaseous state. Everything around us, for example, book, pen, pencil, water, air, all living beings, etc., are composed of matter. You know that they have mass and they occupy space. You are also aware that matter can exist in three physical states, namely solids, liquids, and gases. The constituent particles of matter in these three states can be represented as shown in figure above. In solids, these particles are held very close to each other in an orderly fashion, and there is not much freedom of movement. In liquids, the particles are close to each other but they can move around. However, in gases, the particles are far apart as compared to those present in solid or liquid states, and their movement is easy and fast. Because of such arrangement of particles, different states of matter exhibit the following characteristics. Solids have definite volume and shape. Liquids have definite volume but not definite shape. They take the shape of the container in which they are placed. Gases have neither definite volume nor definite shape. They completely occupy the container in which they are placed. These three states of matter are interconvertible by changing the conditions of temperature and pressure. Solid on heating will change to liquid, which on further heating will change into gas. Gas on cooling will change to liquid, which on further cooling will change to solid. On heating, a solid usually changes to a liquid, and then the liquid further on heating changes to gaseous or vapor state. In the reverse process, a gas on cooling liquefies to the solid, and the solid on further cooling freezes, and the liquid on further cooling freezes to the solid. At the macroscopic or bulk level, matter can be classified as mixtures or pure substances. These can be further subdivided as shown. Matter initially divided into mixtures and pure substances. Mixtures can be divided into homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. Pure substances can be divided into elements and compounds. This is figure 1.2, classification of matter. Many of the substances present around you are mixtures. For example, sugar solution in water, air, tea, etc. are all mixtures. A mixture contains two or more substances present in it in any ratio which is called its components. A mixture may be homogeneous or heterogeneous. In a homogeneous mixture, the components completely mix with each other and its composition is uniform throughout. Example, sugar solution and air are thus the examples of homogeneous mixture. In contrast to this, in heterogeneous mixtures, the composition is not uniform throughout and sometimes the different components can be observed. For example, the mixture of salt and sugar grains and pulses along with some dirt, often stone pieces, are heterogeneous mixtures. You can think of many more you can think of many more examples of mixtures which you come across in daily life. It is worthwhile to mention here that the components of a mixture can be separated by using physical methods such as simple hand picking, filtration, crystallization, distillation, etc. Pure substances. Pure substances have characteristics different from mixtures. They have fixed composition, whereas mixtures may contain the components in any ratio, and their components is variable. Copper, silver, gold, water, glucose are some examples of pure substances. I repeat, copper, silver, gold, water, glucose are some examples of pure substances. Glucose contains carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen in fixed ratio, and thus, like all other pure substances, has fixed composition. Also, the constituents of pure substances cannot be separated by simple physical methods. Pure substances can be further classified into elements and compounds. An element consists of only one type of particles. Element consists of only one type of particles. These particles may be atoms or molecules. You may be familiar with atoms and molecules from previous classes. However, you will be studying about them in detail in Unit 2. Sodium, copper, silver, hydrogen, oxygen, etc. are some examples of elements. They all contain atoms of one type. However, the atom of different elements are different in nature. Some elements such as sodium or copper contain single atoms held together as their constituent particles, whereas in some others two or more atoms combine to give molecules of the same of the element. Thus, hydrogen, nitrogen and oxygen gases consist of molecule in which two atoms combine to give their respective molecules. This is illustrated in figure 1.3. When two or more atoms of different elements combine, the molecule of a compound is obtained. The examples of some compounds are water, ammonia, carbon dioxide, sugar, etc. The molecules of water and carbon dioxide are represented in figure 1.4. This is the figure, a depiction of molecules of water and carbon dioxide. You have seen above that a water molecule comprises two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom. Generally, a molecule of carbon dioxide contains two oxygen atoms combined with one carbon atom. Thus, the atoms of different elements are present in a compound in a fixed and definite ratio, and this ratio is a characteristic of particular compound. Also, the properties of a compound are different from those of its constituent elements. For example, hydrogen and oxygen are gases, whereas the compound formed by their combination, that is water, is a liquid. It is interesting to note that hydrogen burns with a pop sound and oxygen is a supporter of combustion, but water is used as fire extinguisher. Moreover, the constituents of a compound cannot be separated into simpler substances by physical methods. They can be separated by chemical methods. Please like this session of NEET Shala, and this is your host Suyeshi. 1.3 Properties of matter and their measurement. Every substance has unique or characteristic properties. These properties can be classified into two categories: physical properties and chemical properties. Physical properties are those which can be measured or observed without changing the identity or the composition of the substance. Some examples of physical properties are color, odor, melting point, boiling point, density, etc. The measurement or observation of chemical properties require a chemical change to occur. The examples of chemical properties are Characteristic reactions of different substances. These include acidity or basicity, combustibility, etc. Many properties of matter, such as length, area, volume, etc., are quantitative in nature. Any quantitative observation or measurement is represented by a number followed by units in which it is measured. For example, length of a room can be represented as 6 meter. Here 6 is the number and m denotes meter, the unit in which length is measured. Two different systems of measurement, that is English system and metric system, were being used in different parts of the world. The metric system, which originated in France in late 18th century, was more convenient as it was based on decimal system. The need of common standard system was being felt by the scientific community. Such a system was established in 1960 and is discussed below in detail. I would repeat, the metric system, which originated in France in late 18th century, was more convenient as it was based on decimal system. 1.3.1, the International System of Units, SI. The International System of Units, in French, Les Systèmes Internationaux d'Units, abbreviated as SI, was established by 11th General Conference on Weights and Measures, CGPM, from Conference Générale des Poids et Mesures. I would repeat, the International System of Units, in French, Les Systèmes Internationaux d'Units, abbreviated as SI, was established by 11th General Conference on Weights and Measures, CGPM, from Conference Générale des Poids et Mesures. The CGPM is an intergovernmental treaty organization created by a diplomatic treaty known as Meter Convention, which was signed in Paris in 1875. The SI system has 7 base units and they are listed in table 1.1. These units pertain to the 7 fundamental scientific quantities. The other physical quantities such as speed, volume, density, etc. can be derived from these quantities. The definition of SI base units are given in table 1.2. The SI system allows the use of prefixes to indicate that multiples or submultiples of a unit. These prefixes are listed in table 1.3. Let us now quickly go through some of the quantities which you will be often using in this book. Base physical quantities and their units. Length, symbol is L, name of the unit is meter, symbol for SI unit is M. So the base physical quantities I am reading out: length, mass, time, electric current, thermodynamic temperature, amount of substance, and luminous intensity. The definition of SI base units have been given in the subsequent table. I would read it once. Unit of length, meter. The meter is the length of the path travelled by light in vacuum during a time interval of 1 by 299,792,458 of a second. Unit of mass is kilogram. The kilogram is the unit of mass. It is equal to mass of the international prototype of kilogram. Unit of time is second. The second is the duration of 9,192,631,770 periods of the radiation corresponding to the transition between the 2 hyperfine levels of the ground state of cesium-133 atom. The unit of electric current, which is ampere. The ampere is that constant current which, if maintained in 2 straight parallel conductors of infinite length of negligible circular cross section and placed 1 meter apart in vacuum, would produce between these conductors a force equal to 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter of length. Unit of thermodynamic temperature is Kelvin. The Kelvin unit of thermodynamic temperature is the fraction 1 by 273.16 of the thermodynamic temperature of the triple point of water. Amount of substance, the unit is mole. The mole is the amount of substance of a system which contains as many elementary entities as there are atoms in 0.012 kilogram of carbon 12. Its symbol is mole. Second, when the mole is used, the elementary entities must be specified and may be atoms, molecules, ions, electrons, or other particles or specified groups of such particles. A unit of luminous intensity, the beautiful name candela. The candela is the luminous intensity in a given direction of a source that emits monochromatic radiation of frequency 540 into 10 to the power 12 Hz, and that has a radiant intensity in the direction of 1 by 683 watt per St radian. So these were the tables. And this is table 1.3, prefix used in SI. 10 to the power minus 24 prefix will be yocto, 10 to the power minus 21 zepto, 10 to the power minus 18 atto, 10 to the power minus 15 femto, 10 to the power minus 12 pico, 10 to the power minus 9 nano, 10 to the power minus 6 micro, 10 to the power minus 3 milli, 10 to the power minus 2 centi, 10 to the power minus 1 deci, 10 will be deca, 10 to the power 2 will be hecto, 10 to the power 3 will be kilo, 10 to the power 6 will be mega, 10 to the power 9 will be giga, 10 to the power 12 will be tera, 10 to the power 15 will be peta, 10 to the power 18 will be exa, 10 to the power 21 will be zeta, 10 to the power 21 will be iota. So we will end this session here. From the next topic, we will be bringing in next video, which is about mass and weight. Till then, stay safe, stay home, and please, please, please do like this session of Neetshala. And this is your host, Suyeshi, on the show Neetshala Radio. Thank you.